I mean, probably the country who forged peace with Israel, Egypt, somehow is so much allergic and sensitive to this issue in this respect. I mean, the Egyptian presented their concern that such issue would impact the Suez Canal or whatever and that sort of thing. And up until now, such a project has not been materialized, despite the fact, I mean, the outcome of such a project would be, would have a positive impact on Jordan, on the Palestinians and Israelis in this respect. So I think...
Let me challenge you here, Hassan. Not that I personally think that, but the argument would be that since clearly we can't resolve the high politics issues, and we've tried many, many times, let's in the meantime, until we resolve them, perhaps pursue what you call the liberal functional approach and try to build economic capacity and maybe hope that at some future point that makes it possible.
But I'm not ruling out the importance of the function important. But this argument was used in 1991. You know, during the 1991, when they initiated the Middle East peace process, there were two tracks, the bilateral tracks and the multilateral tracks. And that multilateral tracks was supposed to tackle those issues, right? And it was based on functional liberal approach. I think since 1997, that sort of negotiation stopped. And high politics issue, you know, continued to dominate this issue. Now, if you would take, you know, the sort of cooperation at the economic level, at the technical level, between Jordan and Israel, between Israel and Egypt, you would find it at the minimal level, simply because there is no such comprehensive settlement to the peace process. If I would speak of the exchange of tourists, I mean, between Jordan and Israel, I mean, between 1994 and 1995, thousands of Israelis visited Jordan in this respect. However, now if you would go and probably you would have a sort of, probably a few hundred in that respect. And simply, it isn't because I'm saying here, let's speak at the official level. I don't think, you know, the Jordanians would not like to see, you know, thousands of tourists coming to Amman and, you know, inject money and so on and so forth. And for the Israelis, I think the ultimate goal of Israel is to be, what? Is to be, you know, is to be integrated within the region, a normal state within the region in this respect. So functional approach is important, but it isn't the magic that would, you know, solve the issue in this respect. I mean, how you would solve an issue like Jerusalem, of course, the refugee issue in this respect. Of course, probably you would have a functional solution for the refugees, compensation, you know, in this respect. But how about the issue of identity, emotional attachment, and that sort of thing?
Hassan, let me first of all give Rory an opportunity to reply, because Rory, is Hassan wrong? I mean, clearly there's a peace agreement between these countries. Sure. Economic activity has declined rather than increased.
Sure, I mean, he's absolutely right when you talk about Egypt, when you talk about Jordan. What I am saying is that there is another factor that is significant in the last 5 to 7 to 8 years that has never been seen before on this scale, and that is you have a group of highly wealthy emerging markets with cash generating about cash surplus to the requirements of about $5 billion a week. They also have high unemployment, a highly educated workforce, a huge public sector, a desire to have jobs for their local populations, and a huge foreign workforce, and it is not sustainable at a time when they're trying to diversify from energy. And what you see is very close nearby is one of the most successful cases in the history of the 20th, 21st century of turning ideas and entrepreneurship and innovation into a successful economy, and that is Israel. And while I do not believe that all the Gulf money put together is going to change the realities on the ground, I certainly believe that while politically they have been maybe a bit cowardly and certainly a bit unwilling to engage over the last 5 or 6 years, with some exceptions like the Qataris trying to do something to increase their own role, I think that you cannot discount this hugely significant economic desire to invest at home and draw on the technologies available that Israel offers in the Gulf. And this is something that comes through. I go there regularly, and next month I'll be there. And this is something that comes through all the time. We have a limited amount of time to make a difference in our countries, and Israel offers an opportunity. So what I would say is this is not an altruistic motive by the Gulf states to improve or solve the Palestinian problem. Because when they talk about working with Israel in a peaceful context, they do not, to be honest, they do not care about the Palestinians. They don't care about a Palestinian economy. As one of the speakers to the right said, they'll invest in a Palestinian economy when they can make a profit. But until then, they want to minimize it now because they have their own requirements at home. And that's what I'm saying.